Parents who have adopted an older child, 5 and up, how has it gone for you? When my wife Rachel and I adopted Devin at 6 years old, they told us she had mild trust issues. What they didn't tell us was that she'd been returned by 3 families already. Devin showed up at our house with one tiny suitcase and a backpack. That first night, I watched her through the doorway as she carefully laid out all her clothes on the bed. She folded each piece perfectly, put it back in the suitcase, and zipped it up. Then, she slept on top of the covers, fully dressed. I thought, maybe she was just nervous, but weeks went by, and that suitcase never got unpacked. She'd take out one outfit each morning, wear it all day, then fold it back up at night. Her closet stayed completely empty. Rachel tried everything. New sheets with unicorns on them, a nightlight shaped like a butterfly. We even let her pick out paint for her room walls. She chose white, just plain white like before. One morning, I found her in the kitchen at 5 a.m. making her own breakfast. Toast with no butter, just dry bread. When I asked why she was up, "So early," she said, "I didn't want to bother you guys. Sometimes people get mad when kids wake them up." That broke my heart. Rachel and I had been trying for years to have kids. We dreamed about Saturday morning pancakes and bedtime stories, but Devin acted like she was living in a hotel, not a home. The real wake-up call came 3 months later. I got home from work and heard crying upstairs. I found Devin sitting on her bed holding that stupid suitcase in her lap. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" She looked up at me with these huge brown eyes and said, "I heard you and Rachel fighting last night about money. I know kids cost a lot. I can go back to Miss Janet tomorrow if you want." Miss Janet was her social worker. My throat got tight. Rachel and I had been arguing about our car payment. Nothing to do with Devin at all. "Devin, we weren't fighting about you. We love having you here." She just shrugged. That's what the Johnsons said too. And the Millers, they all said I was special. Until I wasn't anymore. That night, Rachel and I sat up talking until 3 a.m. We realized Devin wasn't just scared of us leaving her. She was waiting for us to leave her. She'd been through this routine before. Nice family, happy faces, then back to foster care when things got tough. The next day, I had an idea. I went to the hardware store and bought the biggest picture frame they had, like 3 FT wide. Then Rachel and I spent the whole weekend taking photos. Devin at breakfast, Devin watching TV, Devin playing with our dog Charlie. Just normal, boring family stuff. We printed out all the pictures and arranged them in the frame. Beach trips we took her on, movie nights on the couch, Devin's first day at her new school. Even the bad pictures where someone was making a weird face. When Devin got home from school Monday, we called her into the living room. The giant frame was hanging on the wall above our couch. "What's that?" she asked. "That's our family," Rachel said. "See, there's you and me and Dad and Charlie." Devin stared at it for a long time. "But what if I have to go back to Miss Janet?" I knelt down next to her. "Devin, look at this frame. Really look at it. See how it's screwed into the wall? See how all these pictures are glued down?" She nodded. "That means they're permanent, just like you. You're not going anywhere. This is your house, and we're your family, and nothing is going to change that ever." She touched the glass with her finger. "Even if I'm bad, even if you're bad, even if I break something, even if you break something, even if I have nightmares and wake you up, especially if you have nightmares." That night, for the first time, Devin unpacked her suitcase. She hung up her clothes in the closet. She put her toothbrush in the holder next to ours, and she asked Rachel to read her a bedtime story. It wasn't magic after that. Devin still had moments where she'd test us. She'd act out at school, or hide food in her room, like she was preparing for us to stop feeding her. But every time we'd point to that picture frame, "See that?" we'd say, "That's proof you're stuck with us." It took 2 years, but eventually Devin started calling us Mom and Dad instead of Rachel and Dad. That shift in words felt like the biggest milestone of all. It was the moment we knew she truly felt like part of our family. But getting there wasn't easy. There were still difficult days. Days when Devon would clench herself into a ball, refusing to come out of her room. Days when nightmares pulled her back into fear and pain. We quickly learned that love wasn't a magic fix. It was patience, consistency, and showing up even when it was hard. Therapy helped us all. The family sessions gave Devon tools to express herself and helped Rachel and me understand how to support her without overwhelming her. It taught us that sometimes silence was okay, and that sometimes we just had to sit with her pain without trying to fix it immediately. School was challenging too. Devon's gaps in learning left her frustrated and discouraged. But she found refuge in art class. Painting gave her an outlet where words failed her, and her teachers noticed her blooming confidence. Slowly, her classmates began to accept and befriend her, breaking down the walls built by years of hurt. Rachel and I created rituals that became anchors. Saturday pancake breakfasts, bedtime stories read by flashlight, Sunday hikes with Charlie the dog. These routines brought a sense of normalcy and security that Devon had never known before. One day, Devon surprised us by inviting a new friend over for a playdate. She beamed with pride as the two giggled and ran through the yard. It was a moment that said everything. She was here, she belonged, and she was healing. Financially, we had to tighten belts and rely on community support programs, but every sacrifice felt worth it for her smile. Adopting an older child isn't about curing the past overnight. It's about building a future, brick by brick, day by day, moment by moment. It's about letting go of perfection and embracing the beautiful chaos of family. 2 years later, when Devon first called us Mom and Dad, it was the truest kind of victory. Not just for her, but for all of us. Story 2. My wife gasped, "OMGG, you're such a child. Grow up." When I suggested marriage counseling, I said, "You're right. I should grow up." When she got the legal separation papers from my attorney instead of a counseling appointment, growing up looked different. I, 34 male, served my wife Natalie, 32, legal separation papers 2 weeks ago. She thought I was joking until the process server showed up at her yoga studio. We've been married 7 years. No kids, thank God. The past 3 years have been rough. Not violent or dramatic rough. Just this slow erosion of respect that I kept, ignoring because I loved her. It started small. Comments about my hobbies being childish. I build model trains. My friends being losers. They're all employed stable guys. My job being pedestrian. I'm an electrician. Make decent money. Meanwhile, her lifestyle blog that brings in maybe $200 a month is her empire. 3 months ago was the breaking point. We were at dinner, and I brought up something I've been thinking about for weeks. Nat, I think we should try couples counseling. She literally laughed. Wine almost came out her nose. For what? We're not connecting anymore. You seem unhappy. I'm definitely unhappy. Maybe talking to someone could help. She put down her fork and stared at me like I'd suggested we join a cult. OMG, you're such a child. Grow up. How is wanting to work on our marriage childish? Because adults don't need someone to hold their hand through life. If you can't handle marriage without running to therapy, maybe you shouldn't be married. So, your solution is what? Just be miserable. She rolled her eyes. I'm not miserable. You're miserable because you're emotionally stunted. Maybe work on yourself instead of dragging me to crying sessions about your feelings. It's not about crying. It's about communication. God, even the way you're whining right now. Man up, Jeremy. This is embarrassing. I stopped talking, paid the check, drove. Home in silence. She acted like nothing happened. Posted Instagram stories from dinner with captions about date night with hubby and hearts. Went to bed talking about her weekend plans with her sister. I lay there thinking about what she said. Grow up, man up, handle marriage. Okay, I'll handle it. Next morning made an appointment with a divorce attorney. Not even for divorce initially, just to understand my options. Attorney listened to my situation and suggested legal separation first. Less nuclear. Establishes boundaries. Can convert to divorce later if needed. Filed 2 weeks later. Had her served at her yoga studio last Tuesday because I knew she'd be there and couldn't make a scene in front of her image-conscious friends. The text started an hour later. What is this? Is this a joke? Jeremy, call me now. This isn't funny. You can't be serious, I replied once. Taking your advice. Growing up and handling things like an adult. My attorney's contact info is in the paperwork. She came home that night. Apocalyptic. I was already staying at my brother Keith's place. According to Keith's Ring doorbell, he lives in the same neighborhood. She spent 20 minutes banging on his door, screaming about manipulation and abuse. Keith didn't answer. Eventually, she left. Her mom called the next day. Her sister called. Her best friend Zoe called, all with the same message. How could you do this without talking to her? I had the same response. I tried talking. She said adults don't need counseling. So, I handled it like she suggested, took action instead of talking. The funny thing, I'm not even angry anymore. Just done. Update. 1. The entitlement has reached astronomical levels. First, she tried to lock me out of our house. Changed the locks while I was at work, except I still own half the house. And changing locks during a separation without notice is a no-no. My attorney sent one letter, and she had to provide me keys within 24 hours. Then came the financial manipulation. She withdrew $8,000 from our savings. Her logic: I need security since you're abandoning me. My attorney's response filed an emergency motion for financial restraining orders. Judge ordered the money returned and froze our accounts except for normal expenses. She had to return $7,400, kept $600 for expenses she couldn't document. But the real show started when she realized I was serious. She showed up at my work at an active construction site in heels and a sundress. My foreman had to stop her at the gate. I need to speak to my husband. Ma'am, this is a hard hat area. No unauthorized persons. I'm his wife. Still need PPE and authorization. Safety rules. She actually tried to duck under the barrier. Security had to escort her out. She told them I was having a mental health crisis and she was trying to help. They called me to confirm I was fine and asked if they should call the cops. I said, no, just document it. That evening, she tried a different approach. Showed up at Teeth's in lingerie under a trench coat, like an actual 80s movie cliché. Teeth's girlfriend answered the door. Is Jeremy here? Why are you dressed like a flasher? Natalie actually tried to push past her. Keith's girlfriend, Danny, played college rugby. That didn't go well. Natalie left crying about assault. No cops were called, but Danny did get it on video. Friday, she sent an email to my attorney with me. Have CCD. This is all a misunderstanding. Jeremy is clearly having some sort of breakdown. I'm willing to forgive this embarrassing stunt if he drops this immediately and comes home. I've scheduled a doctor's appointment for him to address his obvious mental issues. This separation is proof he needs help. My attorney's response was beautiful. Mrs. Name. My client is not experiencing a mental health crisis. He is pursuing legal separation, as is his right. Your attempts to empathize his decision could be construed as harassment. Please cease all contact. Except through legal channels. Her response? She went on her blog and posted about when your husband has a midlife crisis at 34 without naming me. But anyone who knows us knows. Talked about signs of mental breakdown, how to support a spouse in crisis, and how she's staying strong through manipulation tactics. I screenshot everything. My attorney loves evidence. Saturday, she tried the family angle. My mom called Jeremy. Natalie says you're having some kind of episode. Mom, I filed for separation because she refused counseling and told me to grow up and handle things. So, I am by ending your marriage, by protecting myself from someone who belittles me constantly. She says she never said that. Mom, she called me a child for suggesting therapy. Said I was emotionally stunted. Called my job pedestrian. Called my friends losers. Long pause. She really said that multiple times. Oh, honey, why didn't you tell me? Because every time I brought up issues, she'd tell me I was being dramatic. I started believing her. Mom went quiet. Then, you're staying with Keith? Yeah, good. Don't go back. That evening, Natalie sent 17 emails, each one escalating, starting with, "Can we talk?" and ending with, "You're destroying my life over nothing." Update 2. She's spiraling in the most entitled way possible. Monday, her attorney contacted mine. She wants the house fully paid by her despite me paying 60% of the mortgage. Spousal support despite making similar income when she actually works. My truck because she needs reliable transportation. Emotional distress damages for the public humiliation of being served at yoga. My attorney actually laughed. Counter-offered with a standard 50-50 split. No support either direction. Everyone keeps their own vehicles. She rejected it immediately. Tuesday discovered she'd been telling everyone I'm having an affair. That's the only reason a man leaves suddenly. Posted on her blog about signs your husband is cheating with very specific details that match our situation. I don't even have time for an affair between work and dealing with her drama. But her followers ate it up. Comments about men are trash, and you deserve better, Queen. Wednesday was special. She filed a restraining order. Claims I'm stalking her. Evidence. I drove past our house, where I legally co-own and have possessions, and she felt threatened. Judge threw it out Thursday. Told her that driving past your own house isn't stalking and wasting the court's time. Could have consequences. She cried in court about being victimized twice. But Friday was peak Natalie. She organized an intervention. Somehow convinced my brother Keith to let her use his house while he was at work. She still had a spare tea from house sitting last year. Invited my parents, my cousin, 2 of my friends, and her therapist. Yeah, the therapist. She's apparently been seeing solo to deal with my crisis. I walked in from work to find them all. In Keith's living room with printed articles about midlife crisis, personality disorders, and emotional manipulation. Natalie standing there like she's hosting a TED Talk. Jeremy, we're here because we love you. I turned around and walked out. Got in my truck and drove to a hotel. Texted Keith, "Your house is compromised. She used your spare key." Keith left work. Immediately went home. Kicked everyone out. Told Natalie if she ever used his key again, he'd press charges for trespassing. She accused him of enabling my disease. My dad called later. "Son, I didn't know what that was about. She said you needed help." Once she started talking, I realized she's the one who needs help. The therapist, her therapist, actually called to apologize, said she was told I'd agreed to this and was concerned about the ethical implications of what happened. I gave her my attorney's number. Saturday morning, Natalie sent a bill, an actual itemized bill for emotional labor during our marriage. 7 pages calculated at $75 for supporting your career, managing your social life, tolerating your family, and my personal favorite, being understanding about your hobbies. Total $78,000. My attorney called it the most delusional document I've seen in 20 years of practice. Sunday, she posted on her blog setting boundaries with toxic people about how she's finally standing up for herself after years of giving too much. Her sister commented, "Proud of you for knowing your worth. The irony is actually painful." Final update. The legal separation was finalized yesterday. Natalie fought it until the very end, but reality has a way of winning. 2 weeks ago, she tried. In one last manipulation. Called my work claiming there was a family emergency to get me on the phone. When I answered, she was sobbing. "Jeremy, please, I'll go to counseling. We can work this out." You said counseling was for children. I was wrong. I was stressed. I didn't mean it. You meant it enough to humiliate me for suggesting it. That was just, I was having a bad day. Natalie, you've been having a bad day for 3 years then. Don't be such a child about this. There it was. Even begging. She couldn't help herself. There's the real you. Goodbye, Natalie. She switched tactics instantly. You'll regret this. No one will want you. You're broken and pathetic. And I hung up. Her attorney finally talked sense into her. Probably explained that judges don't look kindly on documented harassment. false restraining orders, and delusional damage claims. We settled. House sells. Profit split 50-50 after mortgage. Each keeps our own vehicles. Each keeps our own retirement accounts. No spousal support either direction. She pays my attorney fees $3,500 for the false restraining order attempt. She signed Thursday, looked defeated, kept trying to make eye contact during the signing. I focused on the paperwork. As we left the attorney's office, she tried one more time. Jeremy, this is stupid. We could have just talked. I tried talking. You said grow up, so I did. This isn't growing up. This is running away. No, staying with someone who belittles me would be running away from self-respect. She actually stamped her foot like a literal child. You're going to die alone. Maybe, but I'll die respected by myself at least. I walked to my truck. She followed, still talking. You think you're so mature now? You think this makes you a man? You're still that pathetic little boy who needs validation. Natalie, I turned around. I don't need validation. Not anymore. That's why I'm leaving. Got in my truck and drove away. In the rear-view mirror, she was standing in the parking lot yelling at my departing vehicle. Yesterday was move-out day. I got the morning shift. She got afternoon. Took my stuff. Left hers. Grabbed my tools, my model trains. She'd hidden them in the garage rafters. My grandfather's old radio I'd restored. My clothes. My books. Left the furniture we bought together. Left the kitchen gadgets she loved. Even left the TV because arguing over it wasn't worth my peace. Found a note she'd left on the counter. You'll realize what you lost. When you do, I won't be waiting. I left my own note. I already know what I lost. My self-doubt. Thanks for the clarity. Teeth helped me move into my new apartment. 1 bedroom. Nothing fancy, but it's quiet. And nobody tells me my hobbies are childish. Nobody calls me pathetic for having feelings. Nobody rolls their eyes when I speak. Last night, unpacked my model trains, set them up on a table in the living room. Spent 3 hours working on a new layout. Not hidden, not apologized for, just enjoyed. Natalie's blog today. Rising from the ashes. How I survived emotional abuse. I don't care anymore. Let her tell whatever story she needs. The people who matter know the truth. My mom called. This morning? How are you doing, sweetie? Good, Mom. Really good. Your dad and I are proud of you. It takes strength to walk away from someone who doesn't value you. She said I was being childish. Honey, children don't file legal paperwork and handle separation maturely. Children throw tantrums and stamp their feet in parking lots. We both laughed. Tomorrow, I'm starting something I've wanted to do for years, joining a model train club. They meet every Wednesday. Natalie always said it was too embarrassing to be seen with grown men playing with toys. Guess what? I don't care what's embarrassing anymore. I care what makes me happy. The legal separation stands for 6 months before it can convert to divorce. Natalie's already hinted through mutuals that she expects me to come to my senses before then. I've already asked my attorney to prepare the divorce papers for the earliest possible date. Growing up doesn't mean accepting disrespect. It means recognizing you deserve better and doing something about it. She was right about one thing. I did need to grow up, just not the way she expected.